All right, everybody, welcome to the Otherppl Show. It's a weekly podcast featuring in-depth conversations with today's leading writers. I'm Brad Listi, and I am talking to you from Los Angeles. It is Saturday, so it's time for a brand new Storytime episode in which an author reads to you aloud from their book. Today it's going to be Jeannie Vanasco reading from her memoir, A Silent Treatment, available from Tin House. It is the official December pick of my book club, the Otherppl Book Club. Go sign up for that over at otherppl.com. A Silent Treatment is a mother-daughter story. It is about the silent treatment. It is about silence between Jeannie and her mom, and how her mom over the years has given her the silent treatment many times, for as little as 2 weeks, for as long as 6 months. It's a riveting book, and you're going to hear Jeannie reading from it right now. All right? So here she is. This is Jeannie Vanasco reading from A Silent Treatment.
Hi, my name is Jeannie Vanasco, and I'm going to read from my new memoir, A Silent Treatment. It's about my relationship with my mom, and the book unfolds during one of her many silences. So some years ago, she moved into the house that my partner, Chris, and I shared. We'd renovated our basement into an apartment for her. And not long after she moved in, she started using the silent treatment. Her silences would begin at any perceived slight. The shortest silence lasted a few days, the longest 6 months. A Silent Treatment is my third book and available from Tin House. I'll read the prologue and first chapter, and I think all you really need to know is the prose is occasionally interrupted with parentheticals that quote her, things she's either said or written to me. When she wasn't talking to me, she still felt very present, and so these were a way to bring in her voice. Thank you for listening. Write the truth, my mom tells me. Otherwise, it wouldn't be honest or interesting. The second or third day. Maybe. I forget words. I hold a string with pieces of metal attached to it. The pieces are shaped like cats. I dangle it in front of Chris. I pause. I know I sound like an idiot, I continue, but the name of it, you know. Wind chime, Chris says. Did my mom give this to us the Easter she wasn't talking to us? Chris can't remember, but he also can't remember if she talked to us the past 2 Easters. My mom's silences, a few days here, almost 6 months there, over the 5 years since she moved in with Chris and me, amount to 1.5 years at least. A year ago, I told her, when you don't talk to me, it's all I can think about. I feel sick constantly. Next time I do it, she said, yell at me. Tell me to go to hell. I can't do that, I said. Sure you can. I'm not telling you to go to hell. Why not? Because, I don't know, just don't do it again. But she did it again. Then she did it again. And now, I think, again. I write start to-do list and immediately cross it off. Emails, checklists, those I can do. But any writing beyond that, about her silence? Mom, if I didn't want you to write about it, I shouldn't have done it. And during her silence? Mom, you don't need my permission. Enduring her silence, what I'm attempting here, to turn a painful distraction from writing into writing. I'm not so delusional that I fail to register another impulse, to make writing its own distraction, one that prevents me from feeling my pain. And here's something else I already did. Start a silent treatment. But how many times have I done that? Mom, it's a good title. What if you walk down there, Chris asks. We're sitting at the dining room table with our coffees and wind chime. He's wearing a gray shirt and boxers. The boxers are patterned with bacon and eggs, even though he's a vegetarian like me. They arrived as part of some underwear subscription service. Last month was unicorns. Behind him, outside 3 narrow windows, is my mom's private stairwell. It connects her basement apartment to our shared deck. Behind me, in our dining room's far corner, is a door, probably locked. On the other side is her second set of stairs. During a silence, she climbs those only to deliver letters or holiday gifts while Chris and I sleep. Mom, you were such a disappointment to me. Until I can leave here, leave me alone. I want no further contact. One Christmas, she cracked open the dining room door and tossed up my card. It flew into the room like a magic trick and landed on the hardwood floor. Or we could pretend this isn't happening, I tell Chris. That's what I did last time, and she stopped doing it after a couple weeks. But she can go months, he says, and stands. What are you doing? Closing the drapes. But she might think that means something, I say. Why don't I try to talk to her, he says. No, I tell him, I should do it. She's my mother. Mother sounds cold. Its coldness feels right. She's being cold. But my, attached to mother or mom, suddenly sounds strange. Maybe the possessiveness bothers me. What else do I call her? Barb sounds like what it is. A sharp projection near the tip of an arrow or hook, angled away from the main point to make extraction hard. Barb can also be a hurtful or disparaging remark. Barbara? When a childhood friend addressed her mother by name, I was shocked. I still began my letters to Santa, Dear Mr. Claus. I expected my friend to be sent underground. In kindergarten, I announced I was grounding myself, for what, I forget, and went to the basement. To you, her mother snapped, I'm Mom. It sounded like a barb. Mom, a book needs conflict. Go to hell, I tell the wind chime. To hell with you. Why don't you go to hell? But what would happen if I said it to her? I'd cry. That's what I'd do. What I'm doing. I Google help me end the silent treatment, and am instructed not to. I am not dealing with a normal person, these online strangers claim. But if a peer-reviewed psychology study reports that 67% of Americans have inflicted silence, that means 67% of Americans are not normal. Well, duration, though. The study didn't specify duration. Until she moved to Baltimore, we spoke on the phone almost every day. Most calls lasted an hour. She usually waited for me to call her. When she called first, she asked, Am I interrupting? Our calls began shortly after I left Sandusky, Ohio at 18 for a university near Chicago. My dad died a month later. After that, she increasingly talked about how miserable she was. She hated her job. You know, I'd make more at McDonald's than I make at the library. She hated her house. I wish it burned down when the animals and I aren't home, or I wish the city would buy it off me and turn it into a parking lot. She missed my dad. What I wouldn't give to have him back. She missed me. I wish I could live near you. I hate this stinking town. I'm so proud of you for getting out. I was never brave enough or smart enough. Even our letters referenced our phone calls. Dear Mom, not much has happened in the 4 hours since I hung up with you. Jeannie, sorry about crying on the phone Sunday night. I recently found the letters, hers to me, inside a wood box underneath my office daybed, and mine to her, inside folders of official documents that she'd asked me to store. And I felt relieved. They confirmed that we did get along. After college, I moved to New York and for about a decade lived in a series of rent-stabilized apartments. My mom loved to visit. She'd never ridden a plane before. I wish I could move to New York, she said. It's never boring. She reminded me that if it ever became too expensive, I could move back home. You wouldn't have to worry about rent or groceries, she said. You could have all day to write. She stopped mentioning this after Chris and I started dating, but I knew the offer was still there. After he and I moved to Baltimore for my teaching job, We rented a row house that cost the same as our New York shotgun apartment. Now we can live in the same city, I said to her, if you still want to do that. Baltimore is so much more affordable than New York. Then she said what she often said, I just want to be close to you. Maybe she didn't hear me call down yesterday morning and evening. She's deaf in her left ear. Her dad blew smoke in it when she was a girl, thinking that'd cure her ear infections. If she can't see who's speaking or what's making noise, she has trouble determining where the sound is coming from or registering a sound at all. I turn off the air purifier. Too loud? Allege online reviews. Kneel, pluck some cat hair off the area rug and press my ear against the dining room floor. A contractor installed insulation to muffle the noise between the first floor and the basement, which, in 2 months, he transformed from a dingy, unfinished space into a bright apartment. My mom says the insulation works, but when Chris and I are in our dining room, we can hear if she's in our living room, watching TV, talking on the phone, or playing fetch with her dog Max. Is that packing tape? Paper crumpling? I should know the sound of paper crumpling. Mom, you're the writer. You decide what to include. Maybe the my of my mother sounds strange because she seems strange. I doubted my mom would use the silent treatment again. Mom, I won't do it again. Signs she's avoiding or preparing to avoid me. I open the door of my dining room, call down, Mom? And she doesn't answer, even though I heard her moving around moments ago. I shout, Mom? Again, and she still doesn't reply. She texts 2-letter replies such as, okay, and no. She locks the door off the dining room. She takes out her trash before sunrise. She sits hunched on the front steps, not the steps to our porch, but the steps closest to the sidewalk. Our front lawn is on a small hill, staring off. She stops feeding the squirrels and birds. She keeps her lights off. She keeps her phone off. She stacks cardboard boxes in the laundry room or garage or on the deck. Sometimes she includes a moving checklist with the names of retirement communities hundreds of miles away in Ohio. She writes letters. Her cruelest claims, we never did get along. Her softest reads, I love you, but I think we do better at a distance. She never did this to me when I was a child, not that I recall. She did it to my dad, though. They used the silent treatment on each other, she explained, because they didn't want to say something they'd regret. What does she want to say now that she'd regret? If I focus on one object, one without any sentimental associations, that might calm me. The radiator, let's start there. But is it radiator or radiator? I remember the realtor and the contractor pronouncing it rad and not ray. Or did they call it a radiator? Must be regional. As a child, I corrected my mom when she said wash instead of wash. I washed all your clothes, and do you need anything washed? I still feel horrible about that. She also told me I could have gone to Washington, D.C. after high school. I was a good typist. I had an offer to be a secretary, but my dad wouldn't let me. He said I'd get raped there. He said I had to get married, or he was kicking me out of the house. I sit at the dining room table and call her phone. It rings and rings below me. Frank Sinatra croons, New York, New York. I should have lied. It's impossible to make an entire song your ringtone. When we're together and she chooses not to answer, I sometimes remind her, to make it stop, you press this button. But when strangers glare, I want to tell them, she and my dad went dancing every Friday before I was born. When he, a longtime New Yorker, walked into the room, the DJ would play this song. Even though he died 20 years ago, I tell my dad, I'm trying, I really am, but you know how she can be. I remember him attempting to break her silences. Once he followed her to the basement and I heard something smash. Mom, he kept talking and talking. He wouldn't let it go. You wanted to transfer out of Catholic school, and I said absolutely not. So I threw the hot iron against the wall. I just wanted you to have a good education. I touch the doorknob the way one does in a fire and quietly test the lock. The knob turns. I open the door slightly and peer down her stairwell. The lights are off. "Mom?" I want to say, but I'm afraid to speak.
All right, you guys, there we have it. That was Jeannie Vanasco reading from her new memoir, A Silent Treatment. It's available from Tin House. It is the official December pick of the Otherppl Book Club. That is my book club. If you want to sign up, you can do so at otherppl.com. Jeannie Vanasco is the author of some other memoirs, including Things We Didn't Talk About When I Was a Girl and The Glass Eye. And she has a website, jeannievanasco.com. There's no social media, so just read her books, okay? The most recent one is called A Silent Treatment. You just heard her reading an excerpt from it. It is superb. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen, and you can follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram. Sign up for my newsletter at bradlisti.substack.com. Support the show at patreon.com/otherpplpod. Get an Otherppl t-shirt or a sweatshirt at the show's website, otherppl.com. And if you want to get some of the best writing courses on the market, you can do that at www.deepdive.audio. Deep Dive is my new company, and all of the courses are on sale right now for the holidays. So check that out at deepdive.audio. Finally, if you have a moment, please give this show a rating wherever you listen. I would be so grateful. It helps the show in the algorithm, and it helps it find new listeners. All right, I think that's it for today. Story time is over. Go enjoy your weekend. I should be back tomorrow with a new episode, a new conversation with an author, so check that out. It's going to be a little bit touch and go over the holidays. I think I'm going to have episodes, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have a full slate. But, there will be stuff. So stay tuned, and I have a very special guest who is now going to handle the sign-off. I told him I would let him do this. This is my son, River. River, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Goodbye, everyone. I love you. Thanks for listening.